cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh podcast. My name is Sunny. I am here with my co-host Caleb.
Yo!
And of course, before we get too far in, we want to take a few moments to thank, of course, we're going to start with all of our patrons. So, a huge thank you to Cam Yang, Austin Johnson, Kane Martin, Gate Guardian Support, HGH Cyber, Josh Rosen, Marshawn Jones, Zyphorus, Yeet the Feet, Zephyrus AD, Anthony Lila, Blackwing, Floodgate Armor Master, Branded Fart, Dank Nugs, Earth Machine Best Deck, I Am McLincoln, I'm a Wiener, Mountain Man, Mystic Mine, and Dino is Exceptional, Oatmeal Spaghetti, Owen Alvarado, Pig, Rudolph, Tearlament, Sprite, Wake Up Bro, we gotta leave for Edison. The Hoover Dam is a floodgate, Unbanned number 95, Konami, Understanding and Reading are two different things, Virtually Saviors, World Zingis Khan, Aaron Gardner, Asami, Demolition Beaver, the Floodgate Destroyer, Dragon Maidenless Behavior, Nordic Best Deck, Old Man Red, Pin Code 143, Praise be to Mystic Mine, our Lord and Savior, Protect Caleb at all costs. See, you have defenders out there.
Woo!
Ray Powell, Shockmaster did nothing wrong, slaking it up, and wait, what? There's no way I can legally say that. Thank you all so much for your continued support of the podcast. It means a ton to us. And of course, we want to take just a couple of moments to thank, first of all, Millennium Threads. Millennium Threads is an Etsy shop that you can go onto to find a ton of cool Yu-Gi-Oh! Clothing and apparel. It is all custom embroidered stuff. So if you are ever wanting that really perfect addition to your look that is Yu-Gi-Oh! Related, be sure to check out Millennium Threads in the description. Also, we of course want to thank Dragon Shield for sponsoring the program. Dragon Shield is one of the largest TCG accessory manufacturers in the world. They make sleeves, deck boxes, binders, playmats, all of the things that you need to protect your very expensive shiny cardboard. So if you're interested in checking out more from TCG Player, be sure to go ahead and go on to their website using our link down below. That is an affiliate link. If you click it before you shop, it will help us out tremendously, as well as the TCG Player affiliate link that I have seen that a lot of people have actually been using, and we are very, very thankful for that.
I mean, how else are you going to get the cards to put in your sleeves that you got off of DragonShield.com?
Hey, you're not wrong.
Go buy them off of TCGplayer.com.
Yeah, so if you want this great hand shuffle feel, you can get that with Dragon Shield sleeves on cards bought from TCG Player. So, last thing I'm going to say before we get in, if you're on Apple or Spotify, if you want to leave a rating and a review, and be sure to follow us, that would be amazing. So, with that said, why don't we get on into today's episode? I figure we can start with, we had a tournament this weekend, huh?
Yes, we did.
Well, why don't we go through, we'll do a round by round, and kind of talk about what we played against, how we did, things like that. And why don't you go ahead and start us off with your round one?
Oh, sure. So I was playing Marincess. My round one was against Branded Heroes.
Oh boy.
Let me tell you.
So what does that deck look like, or what's the goals?
Okay, so he really couldn't get going because I just kind of hand trapped him to death.
Uh-huh.
But like one thing he did was he normal summoned Aluber, attempted to activate effect, and I impermed.
Oh, that's rough.
He was like, dang. Did something special summon Liquid Soldier to search... Not Liquid Soldier. He did something, special summon a hero monster, so let him search out Fusion Destiny.
Yeah.
Activated Fusion Destiny. Ash.
Oh, that's rough.
He just went, pass. I just full board Marincess OTK'd.
That's rough.
Game 2.
For him.
Yeah. Game 2. Pretty much the exact same thing.
Jeez, get him. Round one, I played against Chris from Team APS. He was playing Libromancer.
Ooh.
I want to say that it was a 2-0. It might have been 2-1. I don't remember. He's a very, very nice person.
Super cool dude. It's been a couple days.
Yeah, if you're listening, Chris, shout-outs to you for trading me that Ultimate Rare Karma Cut. If anybody has one that they want to offload, hit me up. I like Ultimate Rare Karma Cuts. But other than that, I think that it's just... I think it was just 2-0. I don't think that there was anything in particular that was real crazy in that match. Game 1 went kind of long. Game 1 went like 17 or 18 minutes.
Jesus.
I had to figure out what all his cards did.
Fair enough. That's fair. So you had to read everything. Liberamantis are a really cool deck. Don't get me wrong. I really like them. I really like the artwork and the way they function. And the fact that they can run Hungry Burger, no problem.
That is funny.
But they have much better things to run than Hungry Burger of all things.
Right.
Speaking of Hungry Burger, I really want someone to please come up with a Sprite build that runs Hungry Burger so I can call the deck McDonald's Sprite. Anyway, so round 2?
Sure, what'd you play?
Okay, round 2 was against Flu Under Ease.
Oh boy.
So game 1, I won the die roll, I go first. I brick.
Well, that's rough.
It's the only time I bricked all day, but I set Gozen and passed. So he... No, I'm thinking of a different game. Okay, no, I went full board, passed. He ate through all my negates, but I had a Gozen set, and I didn't flip the Gozen yet. I was waiting for him to, like, activate effect normal summon, because I was saving the Gozen in case he had map. So that way he kind of has a bad, matchup. So he threw on my gates. He's like, okay, cool, I can finally do this. Activate map, activate effective map.
Sure.
I flipped Gozen.
Oof.
So, and he banished Eaglin, I think. The low level one that isn't water.
Right.
And so then he couldn't normal summon.
Dang.
Because he had summoned Stritch to start, which is water. And he didn't have another water in his hand to keep going.
Oh, I see.
Game 2, he went full board. Now I was like, okay, cool, let's go to game 3. Game 3, I drolled him.
Oh, well, I mean, that helps.
He went normal summon Rabina, droll. And he attempted to Book of Moon it, and I used Argonaut to just negate the Book of Moon.
Right.
He just went, you got it.
Right. Round 2, I played against Marinsus. I guess we should tell people. I was playing Sword Soul.
Obviously. If you've been a long time listener, he's been playing Sword Soul.
Yeah.
For a while, anyway.
Yeah. So, almost have it max rarity. Almost. But I was playing against Marinsus. Shout out to Aaron from Top Tier Gaming YGO. They are a wonderful YouTube channel with a lot of great competitive content, and they are local to Shreveport. And they're not huge, but they're also not small either. I think they're like close to 9K subs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for them.
So I played against Aaron from TTG, and he had... So if I'm not mistaken, he won the die roll, but I smoked him game 1, and then he got me real good game 2. Game 3, the reason I remember me going first and getting game 1, or him winning the die roll, is because I remember telling myself, wow, that's crazy. I'm going to go second games 1 and 2. And I know I went first game 3, because I went board, and he had a subpar hand, but I misplayed like 2 or 3 times, where at one point, to activate a Chi-Shao, I banished a Shatana. And that banished Shatana allowed him to use Blue Tang to run over my my monk that was on the field. And I couldn't Shatana to pop his Blue Tang. So that basically allowed him to go full combo just off of that one mess up.
Yep.
So, and then he broke my board, and I just didn't have it from there. I made other little misplays here and there, but that was the big notable one. What about round 3?
I played Cam. Our good friend Cam.
Gotcha.
He was running, what was it? Eldritch.
Despio.
Yeah, Despia Eldritch.
Cam from Team Darkroom Dealings.
Yeah, he just could not get anything going.
Right.
I just kept going. I won the die roll there, went full board, and he normal summon a Luber, I think. I don't remember. But basically, I just hand trapped him to death. games 1 and 2.
Mhm.
And then, but like game 2, he set 5 passed.
Whoa.
And I just went, interesting. I like it. And I twin twister 2 of his cards, and I hit Judgment, and I don't remember, in a Floodgate. That actually would have stopped me there.
Right.
Oh, he also set up a Zombie World.
Oh, nice.
That last game, game 1. He was like, I don't know if this will do anything to you, but here it is. It did nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Zombie World does not affect Marincess, like, at all.
Which is kind of surprising, to be honest.
It prevents them from going into exactly, Splash Mage.
They also can't use the effect of Toad. No, I guess they can if you have Silent Sentinel or Gamma still in hand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But, like, the only monster it keeps them from making is, like I said, exactly the, I just said it, Splash Mage, because he requires 2 Cyberses. Anyway, so then game 2, he set 5 pass. I twin twisted a Floodgate and a Judgment. I went, cool, full board. And he looks at my board and goes, this is gonna be rough. I was like, yeah, it is. Attack with, I think I made Kragan.
Right.
There. No. I had Toad. I had a Toad. So I went attack with Toad. He went activate Conch or Haquero. I don't remember which one.
Right.
And I said, it's good. And then he chained Scarlet Sanguine, and I went Ash.
Rough.
He's like, ugh. Replay, attack over. Cool. Next attack. I declared attack with Bubble Reef, I think.
Sure.
No, it was Marble Rock. I declared attack with Marbled Rock, and he went activate the other one. And I went, that's crazy. Thanks for game. Activate Argonaut, special summoning the Anemone to negate it, which gave me the extra body for game.
Wow. Round 3, I played against Eldritch. Like trap monkey flip Eldritch.
Oh, standard Eldritch. Nothing special.
Yes. He was a newer player. He was very, very nice. Very cool guy. And there was not much I could have done. He was just better.
Bro.
He had more purple cards than me. So, and even game 2, I had him on 3 cards. And I baited everything, I had him on 3 cards, and I was like, alright, last thing I can do. Normal summon Taya, activate effect. He goes, Solemn Strike. I go, Red Reboot, let's go. And he goes, Solemn Judgment. And I'm like, bro, kill me now.
That is time in the round.
Oh, dude. Oh, no, he 2-0'd me in 12 minutes.
Yeah. It happens, man, it happens.
Alright, what about round 4?
Okay, so keep in mind, at this point, I'm 3-0. I've never gone 3-0 before.
Right.
I am nervous.
Yeah, you're killing it, dog.
So I choked.
No.
My next round was against Striker.
This guy ended up topping.
Yeah. So in that game, game 1, we're going back and forth for a good 10 minutes, just hand trapping the living crap out of each other.
Sure.
And finally, I have a blue tang in hand and one other card, and he has 1 card in hand.
Right.
He draws for turn and goes, I'm sorry. And just lays down the Mystic Mine.
That's rough.
I have no main outs to Mystic Mine. I'm like, it's game 2, man.
Oh, man.
So game 2, I have I'm siding it. I have Gozens in. I'm siding in, I am drawing a blank on this trap card. I am picturing Anti-Spell Fragrance.
Yeah.
So we start. I go first. I kind of set up a board. He hand traps the living crap out of me. I'm like, okay, cool. It be how it be.
Right.
It is what it is. So I make So I end up setting goes and blah blah blah. He nibbed me is what happened.
Right.
So he normal summons Ray.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, that's no bueno. And I just go ahead and goes in right there. I should have waited. it ultimately ended up not matter. But me thinking about it later, it's like, it doesn't really matter in that exact situation.
Right.
He chains, makes Kagari, gets rid of the nips. So he can keep Kagari.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going back and forth. He ends up Cosmic Cycloning or Twin Twister. I don't remember. He ends up outing my Gozen.
Mm-hmm.
And then I end up just flipping anti-spell. And he's like, how many floodgates do you run?
A bunch.
Anyway, I flub because I forgot to activate Marbled Rock one turn.
Oh, rip.
To return the blue tank back to my hand where I could have just gone in for lethal, and I whiffed on it.
Yeah.
And that gave him game 2. Because we went into time and he had more life points than I did.
Oh, that's rough. So, round 4, I played against Punk Synchro. This was somebody that we know very well from the Shreveport shop. And I want to say I won game 1, he won game 2. And game 3 was a really ugly game. All right, but we had this great moment. Do you know the song that goes da 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 da?
Yeah, it's Kiss from a Rose.
Okay. So I'm comboing and he's got nothing. Or at least he seems like he has nothing. And he's like, yeah, do your thing. I'm comboing. I'm going at it. I'm going nuts.
Going full swoo combo.
Right. So I owned on Baron, Chi-Shao, Blackout, Imperm. Right. Blackout, Imperm.
Jesus.
Yeah. And I have a hand trap in my hand. And he says, and that's when, near the end of my combo, is when I realized what song he's humming. As I'm finishing my combo, I go, oh man. I said, I wish you hadn't done that. That song's gonna be stuck in my head all day now. And he's like, oh yeah, it's a great song. We're humming it.
Yeah, he had a nice wholesome moment there.
Yeah. And then I said, all right, well, that was fun. Pass turn. It was all right, cool. And he draws for turn. And I go, man, I'm so glad you didn't nib me there. I said, I almost kind of wish you had. That way I could have had it out the way. But I'm glad you didn't. That way I still have my bear negate. And he goes, no! I said, I was fully expecting you to have nib there. And he looks down and goes, no! And he's yelled and said a bunch of mean words. Not to me, just in general.
To himself, mostly.
Yeah. He had the nib in hand, got distracted by Kiss from a Rose,
and forgot
to activate it.
Whoops!
And then, what's even crazier is, he managed to pretty much out my board over the course of a couple of turns. Because even with the dead nib in hand that he didn't use, he still had a lightning storm that I negated.
Ooh.
Yeah, if he nibbed right there and I used the Baron negate, then he immediately lightning storms my field. So he goes with a Xiamen, and then he goes I negate with Chi-Shao, and he has something else, negated with Imperm. He got rid of my Blackout, and then he made Psychic and Punisher and sat on it. Right. So it was not fun. So he kills my Chi-Shao, gets rid of the Baron with Psychic and Punisher's effect, and just continued to stay below me in life. And then he just stayed below me in life. And he kept staying below me in life. And then time was called. And I was up like 4K in life. But I also threw that by really hard. Because at one point I made a Cheng Ying. And I realized that Psychic and Punisher was only unaffected by activated effects.
Yeah.
And the Cheng Ying should have killed right there. But I didn't. Because I didn't think about it.
It's weird. What other card is only unaffected by activated effects, but is still affected by continuous effects?
It's weird. So,
or vice versa.
And the worst part is I should have known that because I play Psychic and Punisher in my Sword Soul deck. But to be fair, I also don't really use it often. So,
I mean, I imagine it's pretty difficult for your deck to actually. It can hit it, but it prefers to hit other.
it prefers to do other things, but it's really easy to hit.
Okay.
Because either Ashuna or Vishuda plus any of the Sword Soul tokens.
Oh, got it.
It's easy to do. I would just rather do something else.
Yeah, which is fair.
Right. So, we go to time. Time is called. I'm comboing in with like... He passes with like a minute left, not realizing what the time situation is. And I look up the clock. See, there's like a minute left. And I just start comboing and doing things. I make my own Psychic and Punisher. And I get ready to go to battle. And right as I'm about to go to battle, they call time and round, so... Yeah, I was going to make my own Psychic and Punisher and then go to battle. And they would both gain the same amount of attack. And I would just crash. So... Alright.
Hey.
What about your round 5?
So round 5, I played again.
At this point, I'm 2-2.
Yeah, at this point, I am, what is it, 3-1.
Yes.
Next up, I'm up against a weird zombie synchro pile.
Oh, dude, that deck is so cool.
And it really is really cool. Game 1, I lose the die roll. He goes first. He presents a board.
Sure.
I hand trap him to death.
Love you, Patty.
Yeah.
That's it. That's who he's playing against, Patty.
Yeah. So then I go full board and I start doing things. Can't quite kill him and I pass. Right.
Sure.
I leave him on 700.
Sure.
I pass. He's in the middle of him doing stuff during his turn. I realize I could have made Kragan.
Oh no!
And that would have been
killed.
lethal. Yeah. So I still won that one.
But it took way longer than it needed to.
Way longer.
Like, that game went another, 20 minutes, didn't it?
Yeah. So then, game 2, he goes first again, full board, blah, blah, we were going back and forth. He's able to, just crash into me for a crap ton of damage.
Sure.
And passes. And within the time limit, I'm not able to put him down enough to be beneath me life points.
Right.
Then time gets called. He wins that game, so it's a tie.
That sucks.
But the thing is, when time got called, I had a spell trap negate and a wave in hand.
Oh, okay.
He was top decking.
Gotcha. Well,
If
at the end of the day, though, it's a tie, you know?
Yeah.
So
had I not missed lethal, I probably would have won that game. Probably.
well,
I don't fully know everything he had, in the graveyard and stuff. I didn't fully understand how all of it worked. So he probably had an ace up his sleeve or something, knowing Patty.
yeah.
He probably had a bunch of stuff he could do just without even drawing.
Right.
But I mean, it'd be how it be.
Yeah, we don't know the intricacies of that deck, so.
Yeah.
Let's see. Round 6, I play. Or I'm on round 5.
Yeah.
Round 5, I played against Trap Eldritch again.
Ugh.
Yeah. And this time I did not draw Red Reboot, but I didn't need it. I took a different approach to this game because I know that Eldritch is a control deck, and most control decks work in close to the same way. And they really work on, they want to be up in advantage at all times and grind the game into their favor. So I focused on smart 2-for-1 trades, smart 1-for-1 trades, things like that.
Yeah, to keep his advantage from being swung too far.
Right, and I never just went for a blowout kill. I had a couple of moments where I maybe could have gone for a blowout kill,
but it was safer not to.
Right, he has 3 back row, and it's like, yeah, I know a couple of them, so I'm just not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna sit on my 3,000 beater or 2,000 beater and just beat them. And I did that for 2 games, and it worked. So.
Well, I mean, sometimes the best thing to do is just make a single good play and then just sit on it against trap decks like that.
Right, because to be honest, I just kept going, and I never saw any side deck cards. No twins, no reboots, nothing. I just beat him old-fashioned.
Bro.
Nice person, I just beat him.
Yeah.
You know. All right, what about your round 6? Last round of the day.
Round 6, I played Trevor.
From Team Dark Arm Dealings.
Yep.
And this is a win and in for both of you.
Yep. So at this point so those past 2 games I was missing stuff because I was super nervous. At this point I've calmed down a little bit.
Sure.
And I'm like, okay, this is going to be my best game. I entered the zone.
And then you saw the pairing against Trevor.
And I was like, beep! No, literally, I said one 4-letter word that I'm not going to say on this podcast.
Yeah.
Just keep PG-13. And
It starts and ends with the same letters as fire truck.
yeah. Anyway, so I'm like, okay. It's fine. It's just Trevor. He's a cool dude. Good player.
And you know what his deck does?
Yeah, because it's a mirror. So we start getting into it. It's just hand trap central. I win the die roll, attempt to set up a board. He hand traps me to crap and back.
Yeah, perfectly just stop you.
Yeah. So then pass. I do the same.
Sure.
But I still went for the Argonaut. I was still able to make Argonaut with like one thing equipped to it
Sure.
for one spell trap negate.
Did you have the wave also?
No. He stopped me from getting wave.
Rough.
Anyway, so what ends up happening is he makes Bubble Reef,
Okay.
which is bigger than our Argonaut, and he just runs it over.
Right.
And I realized I should have made Bubble Reef instead of Argonaut, because now he's sitting there drawing extra cards.
Right.
And I'm like, oh no! Oh no. And that was actually enough to tilt
The game in his favor.
just that one extra draw he got.
Right.
Well, in the moment didn't really do anything, but I wasn't able to the Bubble Reef pass, and he got another draw off of it.
Right.
So he's done +2 off the Bubble Reef at this point.
So this ends your day, right?
Yeah, that ends that game. Game 2, exact same thing happened.
Oh, okay.
We hand trapped each other crap, but he was just a lot better at managing what little resources that we both had access to from just being hand trapped out.
So I'm interested. How did you feel about your build versus the other ones that we saw? Well, I guess I could do my last round, and then we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Your final record was what?
Oh, that'd be 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
3 wins, 2 losses, 1 tie.
And what is your final standing?
I think it was like 16th
Yeah, I think something like that.
out of 48.
Yes. Top third.
Hey, I still made top 16.
True. So
We'll get him next time.
mission failed. We'll get him next time.
Mission failed. We'll get him next. I don't even play Call of Duty.
Yeah, but like you know it.
Yeah, it's a classic game. Anyway, your last round.
Yeah, sure. My last round, I played against Swoo. I played the mirror match, Sword Soul.
Ooh, we both played mirrors.
We did. Friend of the podcast, a friend of ours. Of course, it's basically locals. They're all friends. Smoked him game 1. Game 2, he smoked me because he chose to go second and had Lightning Storm Droplet.
Jesus.
Yeah, he activated Lightning Storm. I said Baron negate, and he said Droplet negate Baron, send Lightning Storm. I'm like, you got it, dog. And he full comboed me and killed me right there. And then game 3, I just set up enough board where he couldn't beat me, and his hand wasn't quite good enough. I killed him next turn.
Nice.
So
nice.
yeah, it worked out well.
What was your final score for the day was
4-2.
4-2, and that puts you in what, 13th?
Yes. So
Yeah, no X2's gotten to top.
I was
top
about to
8.
say, for those keeping track at home, I went X2 and I did not top, which is disappointing to say the least. To drive all the way there,
do X2 and not top.
yeah, have what is honestly not a terrible day as far as actual record, and just not top, just cause.
It didn't even bubble out because no one who was X2 made top 8
Right.
because there were so many ties.
But next weekend, Dallas Fort Worth Regional,
Woo, we will be there.
August 6th. If you're there, hit us up. We want to see everyone. We'll have Sharpies. We can sign cards. We can sign playmats. We can talk and hang out and say hey for a few minutes.
Yeah, we can trade, whatever you want to do.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to be going to a big regional. We went to some smaller ones, and somehow people recognized us.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Surprised me.
Yeah, same. So we should be wearing our podcast t-shirts. Not podcast hoodies because they're black and it's summertime in Texas.
Yeah, it's hot. Too hot. Ah.
All right. But we will be there and we will be repping. So come find us.
Yeah, so real quick, did you learn anything from this past weekend? Because I had 2 major lessons beaten into me this past weekend.
Yes, I did learn a couple of things. First of all, just because you're X2 doesn't mean you top. Yeah, I learned that one. Because 0 X2s topped at this case tournament. The other thing I learned is people have no idea that the concept of pre-sales means that cards are overpriced for no reason.
Oh, yeah. To the moon.
Right. There was 1 Splight Blue pulled in the whole shop. Keep in mind, while there was 48 people in the tournament, there was a mess up with the ordering process for the cards.
So stock was incredibly limited.
Half a case for a whole shop full of people.
Yep.
Right. So 1 Splight Blue was pulled. I offered cash money for it, and my number was too low, even though it was not TCG player pre-sales, but it was the Gamer's Choice pre-sale price. I offered $50.
Mm-hmm.
Cash, like $20 bills. I offered $50. Nope, too low. They're way higher. Okay. I said, well, if you still have it at the end of the day, if you haven't sold it yet,
My offer will stand.
Right, I'll come back and I'll check in with you. He said, all right, sure. I came back at the end of the day. I was like, hey, you still have it? He said, yeah, I still got it. I said, 50? He said, no, I'm just going to hold it. I'm like,
All right, cool.
all right, bro.
Your decision, mate.
Yeah, so if you're at the regional next weekend and you have Sprite cards like Blue and Elf and Gigantic and Starter and you want to sell them for cash, I will be there with cash in hand to buy them.
Fair enough.
So, yeah.
I had 2 major lessons. 1, Toad cannot negate effects that are already face up.
What?
Yeah. Hold on, let me read his effects real quick.
What do you mean effects that are already face up?
Hold on. Because in the when I was up against Patty,
Sure.
he had like a continuous spell or continuous trap that was already face up, and he activated it. And I went to Toad negate.
Okay.
He can't.
Okay, so Toad says, let's see. Once a return during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell, trap card, or monster effect, you can send one Aqua type monster from your hand or face up field to the graveyard and negate the activation. And if you do destroy that card, then you can set it to your field. Did you call a judge?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So if somebody activates Fateful Adventure
nope,
while on the field.
Nope, I misremembered. It was Argonaut. It's Argonaut.
Oh, I was like, that doesn't sound right.
My bad. I got the 2 mixed up. We had them both on field. It was Argonaut.
Okay, Argonaut says, oh my gosh, there's so many words and they're all so small.
You know what? Let me read
No,
the.
no. I gotta read these cards. I gotta learn them.
Fair enough.
Especially Toad. All right, let's see.
It's been a couple of days.
During your opponent's turn, when a spell, trap card, or effect is activated on the field, quick effect, you can special summon one of your Marincess monster cards equipped to this card, and if you do, negate that activated effect.
Oh no, I've already forgotten the exact. It was a weird thing. Judge was called. They went, yeah, that's how that works. And now I don't remember it. Crap.
Well, I imagine that the card would have to be activated on the field.
Yeah.
Like, if I banish Heavenly Dragon Circle from my graveyard to activate its effect, you can't negate that.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was, but basically there was like this weird thing, and I was like, and now I can't remember it, which is no bueno, where one of my things could not negate a
Imperm.
A face up.
Is Imperm activated in the hand or on the field?
It's on field.
Oh.
It gets played on field. Cannot negate a already face up.
Field spell or something?
No, it was one of the adventure cards. The continuous spell.
Faithful.
Yeah, it was faithful. Yeah, I couldn't negate the faithful because it was already face up. I was like,
Gotcha.
Yeah, called the judge. They were like, yeah, no, that's how that works. It's like, Number 2, the big one that I was like, no, I have to take this to heart from now on.
Sure.
Have a main decked out. for Mystic
Oh,
Mine.
dog, dude, I'm not even gonna lie to you. My deck before this weekend, we were on our way to the tournament. I was like, man, maybe I should deck in one copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. Just throw it in on my deck list and just roll, right? I ended up not doing it. I regret it. I saw multiple Trap Eldritch. Should have been decking in one something. But I didn't see any Mystic Mine. But I'm really anticipating seeing Mystic Mine this weekend. I have one Feather Duster decked into the main deck for this weekend.
Yeah, I got something interesting in mind. I don't want to talk about it, but
Oh, dude.
I'll talk about it after next weekend.
Okay, fine.
Okay, it's just main Harpy's Feather Duster 2.
Oh man, you baited me.
You baited!
All right.
Yeah, major lessons learned. Moving on.
Yeah, so before we move on, I would like to take a moment to thank one of our sponsors, ETB Games in Alexandria, Louisiana. ETB is your one-stop shop for all of your card game needs. They have everything you need for Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Digimon, and they have all of your sleeves, trading cards, like the singles and sealed product. They have all of your binders, deck boxes, play mats. They have stuff for even your tabletop gaming needs. They have the guidebooks. I think they have 5th edition, 4th edition, and many more.
I don't think they have 4th, but they do definitely have 5th. A bunch of 5ths.
Yeah, sure. They have a bunch of guidebooks. They have everything that you need for your tabletop, like all of the figurines, the paint for them, the big table-sized mats, everything that you need for all of those various things. Be sure to check them out. Their link is in the description down below. Now, let's get on into our other topic of the day, which is I want to talk a little bit more about the meta that we're leaving and the meta that we're going to. So,
Oh boy.
I think that these are going to be I don't know that they're going to be quite as vastly different as people anticipate. Sure, Sprite and Tier Limit are very, very good. I don't know that they're quite as good as everybody thinks.
I mean, everybody's thinking it's going to be Tier 0.
Neither of them will be guaranteed because the other exists.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly disagree.
Yeah, I don't think either of them will be Tier 0. Here's an interesting question. Which one is better than the other, short term and long term?
Okay. Short term, I do believe Sprite is 100% going to be better. Just, the immediate...
Sure.
With what they... I mean, because it's ridiculous what they already have. Tier Lament, though, I think, depending upon how the next ban list goes and the future set releases, like all the new imports and stuff we get in the future, that kind of thing, I think Tier Limit might end up, like, in the long term when people are looking back on this format, I think Tier Limit's going to be the better deck.
Okay, so I think in the short term, like you said, at the beginning of the format, Sprite will see more tops like this weekend and next weekend. But I think by the time we get to YCS Niagara in 6 weeks, people are going to be really surprised at how much Tier Element is in that top cut.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. They're going to be...
I think the reason is because that deck is not figured out yet.
Oh, no. People haven't... Like, the deck hasn't been solved yet, and people are already putting out boards of, like, a properly fusion summoned Millenniumized Restrict, which in and of itself is ridiculous. On top of a pair of, what was it? The, Predaplant... the Dragostapelia, yeah. And a pair of Dragostapelias for 2 on-field monster negates.
Yes.
That are not only monster negates, they also level modulate.
Yeah, it's a really, really interesting deck. And I really can't wait to see what comes from it.
Oh yeah, big time. That's going to be absolutely fascinating to watch.
Right.
Develop as, time goes on, people find out new techs, that kind of thing.
Here's the other thing. I don't know that those decks, even with them potentially getting better over time, are that much better than the current power ceiling that we already have. Now, if we were to get a ban list, that changes things significantly. It allows us to reset the power level in the format, put a cap on the old decks, and really let Sprite and Tier Element have their way, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. So I think early on, before the ban list, this may be one of the most diverse formats that we've had. I think it could be every bit as diverse or more than what we have now. The only thing is, I don't know that. I think that Tier Element and Sprite will power creep the decks that are rogue right now to the point where
unless
instead of a top 3 decks with 10 rogue, you'll have a top 5 decks
with like 6 or 7,
2 or 3 maybe.
Yeah.
I think. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to cut you off.
But yeah, like I was about to say, because unless of those rogue decks that have stuff on the ban list, unless they release that stuff, they're not going to be able to keep up. They're just not
right.
Like Dino would probably need to get more misc,
right,
just to even have a chance at doing anything against sprites.
And I think it's such an interesting dynamic because where we're at right now, you're looking at the top 3 decks being Punk Synchro, Sword Soul, and Despia probably.
Yeah.
So those are your top 3 decks. Then when you get into the more rogue decks, those decks are all significantly more powerful. So if you look at something like that versus Tri-Brigade or Marincess, which is a good deck, but at this point, it's still not quite tier 1.
No.
So when you look into adding in Sprite and Tier Elements to the mix, to me, it would seem more that those 3 decks become fringe of tier 1.
Yeah.
If they're tier 1 at all.
Well, I think at that point, I think the Despia deck just kind of vaporizes because Tier Element does what it does better.
I don't know that it does it better. Just,
well, I mean, because
it's a little bit more difficult to interrupt, but the end boards aren't necessarily always quite as strong.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
people haven't even decided if they want to run cards like Guardian Chimera.
Yeah. But again, a big part of that is Tier Element not even being solved yet, because we don't even have the Ishizu stuff, and the Ishizu stuff kicks that deck into overdrive. On normal summon, I'm just going to mill 5.
Right.
Hey, look at that, I milled my starters. Perfect. Activate their effects, and just go ham.
Right. Yeah, there's so many different ways to go, but I think that at the end of the day, you're looking at a format with 4 to 5 decks that stand out above the rest to a point where you can actually plan for the format.
Oh yeah, you can definitely have a much better game plan going into tournaments and such, because you know what decks you're gonna see.
Yeah, I think the issue that you're gonna have is when Top Cut is really diverse looking, but the decks that are there that don't belong there, the decks that are there that are not as good, are there because they are running a bunch of floodgates that are keeping them in it. Decks like Sky Striker, decks like, I don't know, Sky Striker is just the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah, Eldritch.
Right. Decks that are not as strong. Well, I guess those, and people are going to say, but those are control decks. That's what they do. The lower power ceiling, higher, you know.
Well, I mean, even Sword Soul can run some,
I mean, I'm running Anti-Spell and Rivalry right now on my side.
Yeah. You know, then I've got Anti-Spell. Well, I had Anti-Spell. No, I still have Anti-Spell. Yeah, I have Anti-Spell and Gozen. Thing is, Sprite and Tier Element can't... Like, Sprite can't really run any floodgates. They don't want to do Rivalry, because all their stuff is Thunder, but they also need access to their Aquas.
Right.
So they can, make Toad. Tier Elements are like all over the place with their typings because they fuse into just generic fusions.
Yes.
And then with what was it, King of the Swamp?
Yes.
Yeah, is how they get into the more non-generic fusions like Millennium Eyes Restrict.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, King of the Swamps is a level 3 Aqua effect monster. It says this card can be used as a substitute for any one fusion material whose name is specifically listed on the fusion monster card, but the other material must be correct. You can discard this card to the graveyard, add 1 polymerization from deck to hand.
Yeah. So they'll pitch that to get the polymerization. They don't care about the polymerization itself. It's the fact they can just put it in grave for free.
Right.
And then they'll use one of their monster effects to fuse it with the Tearlament. Because the Tearlament effects are that you fuse them by shuffling them back from your graveyard back into your deck. And you have to use the one that you're activating.
Yes.
So that is Thousand-Eyes Restrict plus an effect monster, Millennium Restrict.
Right, exactly.
And that's how they're pulling that off.
Right.
And then Dragos Topelios are just 2 dark monsters, so it's ridiculous. And that's just that board.
Yeah, and the deck doesn't know what it wants to do. It could also end on a Winda. It can end on a Dark Law.
Oh yeah, like people haven't figured out what they actually want to do with the deck. And then I heard one person who was talking about the deck. I don't remember who it was. It was one of the YouTubers. But it was saying the deck's kind of RNG, but your opening hand will almost always give you a line of some kind. You just got to figure out what your end board's going to be.
Right.
So you're basically drawing your hand. I think the best way to describe it, it's kind of like rolling dice, and that'll determine what your end board will be. So like if you roll a pair of 3s, like I just rolled dice for this, you'll end on the Millennium Restrict, Dragos Topelios board.
Right.
The next hand you'll go, okay, cool, I can't do that line, so instead I'm going to end on a Winda and this and that, and
yeah, for sure.
yeah. But ultimately, it comes down to you're probably, and I think that's actually kind of what makes the deck a little hard to hand trap, is because you don't know what line they're trying to go down until you're late in the line.
Yeah. All right. You want just a mailbag?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Should Konami put Recital Starling to 2, given the deck fell off hard and hasn't come back since the 2 big hits to the deck?
That's a good question. I don't know how I feel about that.
I am perfectly fine with Recital Starling being at 1 for now. Doesn't bother me at all. Doesn't hurt me at all. Let it stay, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I see nothing but problems with it coming higher on the list.
My issue is that it's not once per turn, and I ran the deck, and even I went, this is degenerate and disgusting.
Right. All right. Next. Well, the conversation went on, and somebody said you may as well bring back Dryden too. And I would be fine with Dryden coming back, if we're being honest here.
I mean, yeah, just like one Dryden.
Yeah. All right. Next we have, if you were in charge of the next Legendary Duelist pack, what would your theme be, and which archetypes would you choose to support in it?
I would do fire, and I would support volcanics.
Pain 96, we're looking at you, boy. All right. I think, if I'm being honest with you, Legendary Duelist Leo.
Oh, get more Morphtronic stuff?
No, is Leo Morphtronics?
Yeah.
Whoever the Fluffle guy is. I don't know. I want more Fluffle cards.
Yeah, that guy. I can't think of his name, but he's like Leo from the Fusion Dimension.
Right.
If I remember correctly.
If you were in charge of the... Oh, wait. I already said that. What is the most disappointing archetype to you over the past few years?
Ooh.
Most disappointing archetype.
For me, it would probably be Bee Trooper.
Oh, that's such a good answer.
Cause its first wave of stuff was all really solid, really good stuff. New waves coming in. We're excited. It's all garbage.
Yeah, honestly, I think your answer is just correct. And I hate to say that because I hate saying that something is just correct when it's so subjective.
Yeah.
But I think that answer is maybe the best answer possible. If I had to say anything else, I would say something really controversial and say Dogmatica.
To be fair, name one card that isn't Ecclesia, Fleur-de-Lis, or Maximus. One monster that isn't one of those 3.
Dogmatica Aiden.
The Iron Punch.
I opened a lot of Rise of the Duelist.
Fair enough. I would also say Dogmatica Nexus.
Yes. Nexus is also one.
And then, I thought the name and I forgot it as soon as I thought it.
To me, Dogmatica was always just a small package that you played in other decks.
Yeah, it had a whole archetype to it. No one cared.
Right. All right. Suppose there was a format with no forbidden or limited list. What would be the most dominant deck or decks? Oh, Zodiac with playing 20 hand traps for all the FTKs.
I was gonna say it was gonna be a tie between either Zodiac or full power spellbooks.
Nah. Nope. Full power spellbook's not even close.
The only reason why I say that
Is because they can put out Jowgen and just turn skip their opponent. You gotta say yes, otherwise people can't hear you nodding.
My bad. But yeah, that's exactly why. So they can just pump out a Jowgen and
Right.
GG.
Do you remember where you were for the Minneapolis Miracle? Okay, Caleb, you're not a football fan, so you're not going to get this. This is directly shot at me. Yeah.
Go for it.
So there was an NFC divisional round playoff game about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay, I'm going to pretend like I know what that is.
It's a second round of the playoffs. If you win that game, then you would need to win one more game to get to the Super Bowl.
Got it.
The Saints are on the road in Minneapolis, Minnesota, playing the Vikings. Vikings are in their new stadium. First playoff game in the new stadium. It's beautiful. They have a journeyman at quarterback. It's like a miracle run for the Vikings. And the Saints are one of the most dominant teams in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
And even though they had an amazing record, they ended up as a wild card or something weird. Even though they had such a good record. I don't know. It was weird. But we actually had either a better record than they did or like about the same. The teams were pretty much equal.
Okay.
At the end of the first half, the score was 24-3 Vikings. It was a blowout.
Jesus.
The Saints came out in the second half and didn't allow us another Vikings point.
Oh.
And the Saints put up 23 points to make the score 26-24.
Jesus.
It was such a tight game. I went into it saying the Saints have been bad for several years in a row. And I told myself,
surely they can't be bad another year in a row.
No. I said, going into that game, I'm just happy we had a good year. If we get blown out, we get blown out.
It be how it be.
Right. If we blow them out, I'll be happy. We blew them out.
Woo!
What I don't want
had him in the first half, not gonna lie,
is to lose a nail biter game. So I'm sitting at the floor of my in-laws. I'm watching the first half. I'm like, okay, well, it happened. It's fine. It's the Vikings year. They're doing good. I like the Vikings. And then the comeback happened. I sat on the floor of my in-laws' living room with my son in my lap because I put him in my lap at halftime. He wasn't old enough to like walk it or anything yet. He was in my lap, and we came out, immediately scored a touchdown after the half, and I was like, oh, you're not moving for the rest of the game. You're going to stay in my lap. You're my lucky charm now. And we came back. He stayed in my lap the entire time. And then the Vikings got the ball back with 20 seconds left.
Ooh, they got 20 seconds.
Couple quick plays. They've got like 10 seconds left. Clock's running.
Yeah.
They run up to the line. They snap the ball. Quarterback drops back. Wide receiver goes down the right side of the field. He jumps up on the sideline. Makes the catch. He catches the ball. He is still 50 to 60 yards from the end zone. He catches the ball. Stephon Diggs. Great wide receiver. The Saints safety comes down like a tank and goes for the kill shot. This wide receiver doesn't have a chance. He's in the air. He's basically defenseless. The Saints safety is coming down like a freight train. The wide receiver jumped a little higher than the safety was anticipating, and the safety went low because if you go high right there, that's a penalty because you can hurt the player. Yeah. So you have to go a little bit lower to try to not hurt them. So he went a little bit lower, completely whiffed the tackle. Not whiffed, he whiffed. went completely clean under him. The wide receiver comes down with the ball, looks around, and there's nobody within 20 yards of him, and he sprints down the field and into the end zone. It is the first time in NFL playoff history that a game has ended in a lead-changing walk-off touchdown.
Oh my God.
They call it the Minneapolis Miracle. And my son has not watched a football game with me since. All that happens is heartbreak.
I just want you to know.
It's okay. The Vikings got blown out next week by the Eagles, who went on to win the Super Bowl. It's okay.
I just want you to know that all my and gasp and stuff was entirely theatrical.
Because you don't care at all about football. I get it. That's fine. I get it.
But I understand you like it, so I'm just pretending here to...
I went on a long drive after that and contemplated life. I muted all of my group chats that are football related for 6 months. And that is not an exaggeration. 6 months before I could think about football again. I was that devastated. So anyway, we're starting a fantasy football league in the Discord server for those that are interested. Only 12 spots are available because I hate myself. All right. So we have do you think generic cards for both the main and extra are good or bad for the game? Also, should Konami move away from generic support cards? I think generic cards in the main deck like Droplet, Ash, etc. are great for the game. I'm fine with them. The power ceiling of the game is so high that you have to have generic main deck cards like that. That's fine. I do have an issue with generic extra deck cards like Barone, Hulk, and Zeus. I have issues with those cards because, to me, they're so much more powerful because you don't have to search them, and they're generic and easy to make.
Okay, here are some generic cards I'm perfectly fine with, main deck-wise.
Sure.
I like main deck cards that are kind of like Silent Sea Nettle, where it's a generic it's a generic water card.
Dino Wrestler Pankratops.
Generic.
Can it pop any dinosaur, or does it have to be a beast, or does it have to be a Dino Wrestler?
It tributes a Dino Wrestler.
Okay. Alpha Master Beast can tribute any, or can bounce any Beast Warrior Wing of Beast for his effect.
Or how I'm trying to think of some other great examples. Just like stuff that's like
kind of generic, but not all the way generic.
Yeah, or like for the extra deck, I'm like perfectly fine with stuff like Splash Mage, where it's just 2 Cyberse, special Cyberse. It is Cyberse dependent. Right. Or even the Marincess, like
we'll call it semi-generic.
Yeah, even like some of the Marincesses are water generic. Just 2 water monsters. Boom, you got it. Area is like the Charmers themselves, the Charmer Link monsters, perfectly fine because it's just one, like those cards that are generic, but they still align to a specific thing of some sort, right? Instead of being dependent on like archetype, right? I'm
a firm believer that Borreload Savage Dragon should require a dragon for its synchro summon.
I believe that Borreload Savage should have required a tuner and one or more non-tuner, including a dragon.
Yeah.
Including a dark dragon.
Or even a rocket monster.
Yeah, including a rocket monster. Yeah, you could use like a tuner rocket and a non-tuner non-rocket, or you use a non-tuner, or you use a tuner and then a non-tuner rocket. Beside the point.
Yeah, like one tuner, one or more non-tuners, open parentheses, at least one monster used for this synchro summon must be a rocket monster.
Or just including a rocket after the materials.
Right.
Like they do with some links saying like 2 or more effect monsters, including a link monster on like Aframax. As an example. So like I'm fine with those. And I'm also perfectly fine with main deck stuff like you said, Droplet, Triple Tack, Thunder Lightning Storm.
Yeah.
Kept trying to say Thunderstorm. Different card.
All right. Chowder, Gumball, or Adventure Time. Did you ever watch them? Which is your favorite?
I have watched all 3
to completion.
I missed the last couple episodes of Adventure Time.
Okay.
I've watched all the other shows to completion. Of the 3, which one do you think's my favorite?
Adventure Time. No, Gumball.
Damn. Should have gone with your first guess. It's Adventure Time.
I have an enormous amount of Gumball respect for Gumball.
Oh, no. Gumball's my second favorite.
I've never really watched Chowder. I couldn't get into it. It was too dumb.
So Chowder had when I first started watching Chowder, I was like, this is meh. But then mid, yeah. But then after about halfway through season 1, they started making jokes where I was like, you're kidding me. You did not make it. And started making hilarious meta jokes.
Right.
There was one episode where a character named Gazpacho was talking to Chowder.
Sure.
And Chowder turns around and bumps into the screen and it smudges the Cartoon Network logo.
Ah.
And Gazpacho's like, oh, come on. Now I gotta clean that. All right, zoom it in. And it zooms out. I said zoom it in. Zooms in. Takes out a marker. Puts it back.
That's funny.
Fixed. Okay.
I like
in
Gumball the anime references that they do.
Yes. But
that's the best part about it.
I will say my favorite joke in all of Chowder was, I don't remember the full episode, but basically Mung Dal, the chef, says, you see, Chowder, women have these things in their bodies called expectations.
Oh no, not like this.
I was like, oh my god, that's amazing. I don't remember the full joke, but it is amazing. And I have deep respect for all 3 shows, but of the 3, my favorite is Adventure Time, followed by Gumball, followed by Chowder, in that order. Between those 3 shows.
I watched probably the most Adventure Time, and I love Adventure Time and Gumball to death. I really do. If I have to pick one, though, it's probably Adventure Time. So I guess I have the same order as you.
Also, I have not been able to really look into any of the post-show stuff that came out, including the new show.
Right.
I just haven't had the opportunity to look at the comics or anything like that, unfortunately. But from what I've heard, it's good.
Yep. All right. That'll wrap us up for today's episode of the podcast. We really hope that you enjoyed. If you did, if you're not already, be sure to subscribe on YouTube. It would really help us out a ton. Be sure to recommend the podcast to your friends. We've hit kind of a plateau in our growth, which is alarming and frustrating. We don't think that we're gonna die out, but plateaus are frustrating as a creator.
Yeah, but everyone hits a plateau. We're gonna break through.
Yeah, for sure. It's just
with our
frustrations,
We shall break through with our Giga Drill that shall pierce the heavens. Sorry,
something like that.
Sorry, I had to say that.
No, it's fine. Get it out of your system. It's okay.
I did.
So, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube, follow us, recommend us to your friends. It really helps us out a ton. Leave a comment on the video telling us what you think about whatever we talked about. And also, be sure to check out our TCG Player affiliate link as well as our Dragon Shield affiliate link. Helps us out a ton when you guys use that. And I believe that is... and check out ETB, Millennium Threads, and Team Dad, of course. So, with all that said, have a wonderful week, everybody. We'll catch you Friday.
Take care, everybody.